Who knows that haunting feeling of saying too much or saying too little? This is a feeling each and every one of us knows. To have your foot in your mouth, which is one that I've experienced a lot, or also to just not say enough. Either way, it is extremely haunting because our minds are so repetitive. So when we have that moment and that trigger, our mind starts going on loop about how we didn't do it right and all these other things that you should have done and you should have said or you should have not said, and they can keep you up at night. I know it's happened to me before, and that's the reason why I'm talking about it, because the beautiful thing about our minds being on a repeat loop is that instead of haunting us, it can actually propel us. And so how do we shift the narrative in our minds? Examine where these thoughts are coming from, because they are attached to an emotion of you feeling not only guilt, but feeling like you could have done something differently, but it's also connected deeper. And you can only put that kink in that chain from continuing going on its loop by actually examining what's coming up for you. So when you said too much or you said too little, what about that moment caused you to react in that way? And what could you have said differently? Okay, you can do that in the future. Mental note. In the future, when I feel this happen, I'm going to do it differently. But also you can reflect on that moment until your thoughts stop going on loop. And then you can even plant positive affirmations in, something like, I'm so happy and grateful that every time I'm in a situation that I say exactly the right words, or whatever it is that is something that works for you. You don't even need to use them, but these are some things that work for me and they help me feel a lot better. But either way, I want to, one, say it's okay to say too much or say too little, because at the end of the day, we're human. It's all a learning experience. We're all growing. And sometimes we really need to get over ourselves, because I know personally, recently when I had a moment where I felt like I said too much and I went through the analysis that I described to you guys, at some point I was like, really? Do you think that you're so important that that one comment is something that they're thinking about? Because they're not. They've moved on with their lives. It's my own personal journey. And so I think you need to give yourself also a little more slack and realize that you're not that important. I'm not trying to derail your ego or anything like that, because we are always the most important person in our own world. It's just the way that we're wired. But ultimately, these are all great stepping stones for us to improve and learn and grow. And sometimes our egos do need a little bit of an ego check, which also helps us realize that maybe something that we think is huge is not as big. So go out there, do this analysis, and feel better.